Today we're going to be talking about something that most people want to avoid: self-esteem. As you can see around yourself, as you walk into the world, as the day passes by, you understand and you come across people who struggle with self-esteem. So, there is nothing to be ashamed of. And this is not something that necessarily has to be considered as a mental failure. We all struggle with self-esteem and motivation. We all have to deal with making decisions on a daily basis. We all have to consider our decisions on a moment by moment. And that's what it makes us humans. That's what it makes us real. When we go outside every day, we usually wear this fancy mask. This fancy mask that is just showing who we are not. But when we come back home, we understand that we remove the mask and we go back to sleep, and we have to sleep with the same face. So we cannot pretend that we are living happily, because we are certainly doing everything to avoid that. And that's what I'm here today. Today I am here to tell you that what your struggle is, people's struggle, is humanity's struggle. Ever since the first human being came to this planet, this human being was struggling with emotions. And this is normal. There is nothing to be ashamed of. But the good news that I am bringing today is that this can be easily fixed. And you basically don't need to be taking medicine, or you don't need to be taking any kind of weird or rare herbs that alter your consciousness. This is something that we can work from the inside out. And how do we work that? Is by recognizing, number one, that as a human being, we are exposed to self-esteem issues. And that if by any chance we fail or fall into one trap, it doesn't mean that we are a failure. It just means that we are human beings. And that we have to learn how to come out of that hole and step up and keep fighting. Life would be so much easier if we wouldn't be falling into those holes. But let's be real, it would be boring. It would be boring to have a life with summer all year long. It would be boring not to have any challenge. Because at the end of the day, we will fall into getting bored again. But the fact that we are facing all of these challenges constantly is what makes us humans. And we have come here for a reason. And that reason is to become better souls. So the moment that you, I, or we all start understanding that, is the moment that we start fighting for a better cause. We have come to this planet to evolve as souls. But during the evolution of our own souls, we have to understand that we are here on a step-by-step. And on a step-by-step, we trip and we fall. We all do. It's not you, it's not him, it's not her next to you. We all do. We all trip. However, this is the greatest moment in our human existence to understand that we can do better. And yes, there is a solution for low self esteem. And yes, there is a solution for lack of motivation. And yes, there is a solution to fight all the unknowns. And that is being and living the present moment, mindfulness. This is the greatest moment to understand that. Because in the past, when you have judged yourself and when you have told yourself, you know what, I am a failure, I have not accomplished my commitments, guess what? That was a process of learning, a learning process for you. And this is the right moment that you have to understand that you have become the human being that you have become because you have to go through a lot of experiences. And starting as of this point, this is another experience. And at this precise experience is where you are going to understand that you're going to start learning how to master your self esteem. This precise moment is the moment that you're going to understand that you can be greater than you can ever imagine. But in the process of growth, and when you reach the top, you will always understand that yes, even if you are at the top, like most people you can see around you, that there are some on the top and some at the bottom, there is always a chance for tripping again. And only the champions will keep surviving. And by champions, I don't mean those who own the planet, financially speaking, or those who own the planet with knowledge. It's only those who really come across their own emotions and understand that life can be better if we think positively and we work on it. Once again, we are going to be tempted. We're going to be put rocks on the way so we can trip. And that is great. But we will never see a rock in front of us as something to be fearful or something to be ashamed. That rock, we will call that rock. We will ask for those rocks. Because one day, when you or him or them or us overcome the self-esteem issue, we will ask for trouble in a positive way. We will ask for more rocks in our way because we will be unbeatable. And yes, we will get there at some point. Yes, we will be there at some point. Yes, we will stay in that moment. But the important thing today is that we have to understand that in order to get to the top of the mountain, we have to take one step at a time. One step at a time. And today's step is to come into agreement with ourselves that low self-esteem is not something that we have to be ashamed of. It's something that we have to turn it around. It's something that we have to flip it and to make out of that something that makes us feel great, something that makes us feel better. And how are we going to do that? We're going to start working on a step-by-step basis. We're going to start moving forward. But we're going to celebrate every step of the way. Because every step, in between a step, there is some breathing. There is some blood circulation. There is so many signals that we are alive. And that is already a triumph. That is a lot of energy moving. And that is a triumph saying, yes, you have done it. You have achieved it. And you have accomplished it every step of the way. And yes, one day, you will be able to reach the top of the mountain. And you might have conquered already all your fears and self-esteem issues and so on and so forth. And that day, you're going to say, bring me more, because I'm ready to keep fighting. And yes, and you're going to bring examples to other people. And yes, so far you have done so much to be a great human being. But unfortunately, probably those who live with self-esteem issues, they live on denial. And that is not fair. That is not fair to the little you, to the teenage you, to the young adult you, who have worked so much to achieve and to be better. So let's remove that, oh, I'm so sorry for myself. that is no longer anything that we need to be saying. That is no longer necessary. What is necessary is to say, I am so grateful for myself. I am so grateful for everything that I have done. I am so grateful for being provided by, I don't know, there is this God entity that I call God, or maybe the universe, or maybe the air, or maybe something bigger than yourself. Give it a thanks, a big thanks to that bigger entity than yourself, and tell him or tell her or whatever. I am so grateful because at every step of the way when I was falling, you were always there. Planet Earth, if you don't believe in anything, call it Planet Earth, because Planet Earth has been always with you. It's been for providing water, food, clothing, entertainment, everything. And even in the worst case scenarios, you have always been provided by something. And that is the moment that we have to say thank you. And you have to say thank you because you have accomplished so much just to be the person who you are. Look at yourself. Look how beautiful the person you are. Whether you look one way or another, you already look perfect. Can you believe that you came out of something that it was so small, and now look at the person that you are. Look how beautiful that person is. Look how amazing that person is. Think about everybody that you have taught along the way, because yes, believe me, every day we teach somebody. Whether we know it or not, every step that we take, somebody's looking at us and learning something from us, for good or for bad. And I bet all of you, they have been struggling to do their best. So somebody out there was looking at yourself, being the best of what you were able to become. And today is that great day. Today is specifically the best day of your life. Because now that you understand that life is a matter of learning, you understand that self-esteem is part of life. And you understand that every moment, you're gonna be presented with so many situations where your self-esteem is gonna be tempted to fail. And you understand that at the very first steps are gonna be a little bit harder, but then they're gonna become easier and easier and easier. Probably you don't remember when you start walking, but chances are that you have seen somebody who started walking, a baby, a little baby. And as you recall, and if you have not yet done it, look for any video that shows that. But if you recall, that baby one day was lying on the back, until suddenly that baby felt so uncomfortable and started turning around. And then he found, or she found, that their knees would change their position. And then he or she found that the arms would happen to be on four legs, like a cat, like a dog. Maybe that kid was looking at the cat or the dog, who knows? Maybe that was instinct. And then he understood, or she understood, that by moving those arms and legs, he could move from place A to place B. Suddenly one day, he found a wall, and they started climbing. And one day, he was able to stand up. And one day, he gave his first step, and boom, he fell. He fell. But he already was one step ahead. And then he did it again, and he did it again, and he did it again, over and over and over. And he did it again. And suddenly, one day, he was able to walk. He was able to walk. And guess what? Today is the day that you are like the baby, lying on the back. And today is the day that you're going to understand that one day you're going to be not just walking, running. You're going to be flying with your legs. That day will come. That day will come and you will not even remember about the day when you were lying on your back. But believe me, that day will come. And when that day comes, is when you can say, I have overcome the issues that I have been working with. And now it's time to keep fighting the war. It's time to keep fighting to improve my planet, the planet of the person sitting next to you, the planet of the person living in your mind, the planet of the person who is living so far away from you, but is affected by your actions. We are one soul in this planet, with so many different bodies and entities, and we affect each other. And that is why the moment that we start working in our self-esteem, the moment that we start working in our planet self-esteem, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And be present with yourself. Keep breathing and feeling your heart. Keep breathing and feeling every part of your body. Because yes, your body is your vehicle. And your soul is your engine. And yes, you are capable of achieving so much that you cannot not even imagine. You cannot even imagine. But the only thing that you have to be sure of is that starting as of today, your life can be better if you decide to do so. And I know that you will. Because you already have a great soul, greater than you ever imagined, greater than you ever expected. And guess what? Yes, you have that soul. You are that person. You are that human being. And yes, like all the people around the planet, from the richest and the most powerful to the less fortunate, yes, we all struggle with self-esteem issues. Yes, it is normal, nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to feel bad about, but something that it can be worked, something that it can be challenged, and something that it can be taken as a new way of living, a well-being lifestyle.